Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
All right, welcome everybody to the latest edition of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, along with G. Bush and Jason Lloyd. I'm Adam the Bull. We've got Mike, Steve, Earl, and Anthony with us as well. We were a hotly contested debate leading up to the start of the show.
Right. One we can actually talk about on the show for once.
Right, yeah, right. It's true. It's not about like inappropriate sexual relationships or politics or whatever.
It was a good old football conversation.
A good old football debate. This started when G. Bush. I actually argued with everybody there, because first I was arguing with G. Bush, and then I was arguing with Jason and Mike. It started because you and Earl were talking about running backs, and you were saying that there were better running backs in the 80s than now.
Right.
And I disagree with that. I don't think now they're necessarily better. I just think it's pretty equivalent. There was more focus on running backs in the 80s than
there was name brands back then, and like they utilized them a little more. Like, you know, you got Walter Payton. Especially in the 80s, when you look at specifically like the 90s, where you got Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, guys like Marshall Faulk, guys coming into the league. But your point was there's guys like Christian McCaffrey and Derrick Henry that are like pound for pound, just as good as some of those guys.
And think about a guy like Sean Alexander, like 10 years ago, whatever. You know, like we would talk about him as like an all-time great back, and now you don't even think about him.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of guys from every generation that are like that. And then it morphed into a quarterback conversation.
That's where it really went down.
Yeah, then it got feisty because Mike said that the quarterbacks now are way better than the quarterbacks of the 80s.
I totally agree with that.
And I was shocked to see Jason agree with that.
Man,
G and I disagreed with that.
I'm like, man, you got to think about it. You got, before the GOAT, before it was Tom Brady, there was Joe Montana.
Yes.
And then you still had, before Patrick Mahomes, when they talk about the best physical tool set is throwing the football, was Dan Marino. And the point you brought up that I agree is, back then, there was no rules like that.
They were killing quarterbacks.
They could hit you below the knee.
Yeah.
They could helmet to helmet you. And the receivers, people used to just hand you up all the way down the field. Like you could just grab somebody.
Yeah.
So it was a different game.
Right. And that factors in. Obviously the statistics in the passing game in terms of quarterbacks generally and wide receivers, you can't compare. There's more games. It's wide open. Also, not just the hitting of the quarterbacks, the defensive backs could pretty much do whatever they wanted to wide receivers in those days. Time. Which makes it even more amazing what Jerry Rice did in terms of statistics. Yeah. I was listening to some football show the other day. They were talking about how Jerry Rice, in his last year in the NFL, he didn't do anything, but his 16th, 17th, and 18th seasons in the NFL with the Raiders, he had 3,200 yards between those three seasons at like 37, 38, 39, whatever it was, which is just insane.
Was he really that old?
Or maybe he was a little younger. I don't know,
but that's getting into.
But it was like his 15th or 16th season. I mean, he couldn't have been that young. Yeah. Maybe he was 35. Whatever. But and my point was like a quarterback like a Boomer Esiason is probably equal to a Dak Prescott now or whatever. Maybe that's not a perfect. And I'm just saying, like, there were a lot of good quarterbacks back then.
I'm looking at some stats, and once again, stats don't tell the whole
story. Are fraudulent.
No, but just hear what I'm saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this is pre me being alive, so I'm not saying I've watched anything but highlights on this. Some of the teams that were really good, I just looked up 1988 as a random season.
Okay.
You're right. Dan Marino, obviously, doesn't matter, whatever. He was all-time great. Some of these guys, all-time greats whenever they played. There were a lot of bad quarterbacks that won a lot of games with some really crappy numbers.
Let me see them. What you got? What you got?
All right, so Dan Marino that year, 28 touchdowns.
The Browns went to the playoffs 2 years ago with the worst quarterback play.
Did we ever say those quarterbacks were good?
No, but
no.
It still happens now once in a while.
Dan Marino that season, 28 touchdowns, 23 picks.
Mm-hmm.
Randall Cunningham, good season. Third most passing yards in the NFL that year. 24 touchdowns, 16 picks. Mm-hmm. Boomer Esiason, who we just mentioned, 28-14, and then the drop-off. Jim Kelly, went 12-4, 15 touchdowns, 17 picks. Vinny Testaverde that season. 13 touchdowns, 35 interceptions. He threw 35 interceptions.
Jim Kelly is Jim Kelly in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
The numbers were just different. The game was played. John
Elway, pretty good quarterback, right?
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 17 touchdowns, 19 picks. He's one of the 10 best quarterbacks ever.
Yeah.
So don't tell me the quarterback play was all great when all these dudes have more picks than they have touchdowns.
Guy, you're lost in the soup. You can't look at the stats the same way you look at them today.
Here's what I'll give you.
Bernie Kosar that year.
Yeah.
10 touchdowns, 9 picks.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this though. Jim Kelly went to 4 straight Super Bowls. 4.
Never won one.
I'm just saying because he was playing against one of the greatest. I mean, he played against awesome teams. Like you got to look at the Dallas Cowboys and how they was cooking back then.
How many Super Bowls did Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson have?
0.
Same amount as Jim Kelly.
Hey man, Josh. Hey, by the way, Josh Allen, you dope, man. You great. But Josh Allen's getting demoted. I just saw you go back and can't get it done in this year, and we're not gonna have that. Like Jim Kelly. He at least made it to the Super Bowl. We got guys like Josh Allen that ain't even got to the bowl yet. Like we gonna pump the brakes on that.
There's great players in all eras. You can't compare the stats the same way. Mike. You weren't alive. You don't understand what it was like for quarterbacks playing in that era.
I'm saying the top guys could transcend the middle of the pack and down. I think the middle of the pack and down is.
Who's the middle of the pack? Are you calling Jim Kelly middle of the pack?
No, not at all.
Who's middle of the pack? Give me who's middle of the pack.
All right, in 88. What we go off whatever you want. QBR, the middle of the pack at QBR and down.
Give me who's somebody middle of the pack in QBR.
Okay, Vinny Testaverde, Bobby Hubert, Steve Pulis.
Bobby A. Bear. You don't even know how to say his name.
That's how irrelevant he is.
He's like Justin Herbert.
Wade Wilson, Buddy Brister, Ken O'Brien, Chris Miller.
Bobby Brister.
Those guys. Those guys are no different than the middle of the pack guys now.
Mark Rippon won a Super Bowl.
I never heard of Mark Rippon, I'll be honest. Is he the old Washington quarterback?
Who's the middle of the pack now? Give me 15, 16, 17 last year in QBR.
Trevor Lawrence, Bo Nix, Caleb Wilson, Jared Goff, Sam Darnold, Jalen
Caleb
Hurts.
Wilson?
Those guys are better.
What do you mean those guys are better? What are you talking about?
Bobby Brister sucked.
Bobby Brister, fine. That's one guy. Ken O'Brien is just as good as Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence has done nothing outside of a half a season.
What's Ken O'Brien ever done?
Nothing.
What did he ever do?
Hey, the zeros.
I didn't say Ken O'Brien was clearly better than Trevor Lawrence. You're saying he's clearly better.
Yeah, I think he was.
Nah.
And I'm not even a Trevor Lawrence fan.
These dudes ain't did. See, this is what happens.
Caleb Williams he hasn't played long enough. He had 1 year.
The big 3 that they got right now with Allen, Burrow, and Lamar Jackson. The only person that can say anything is Pat Mahomes. That's it. Like that's the only person that you can say. All right, Pat Mahomes. You can't even say he get it done. He been to the Super Bowls. He done won. Yeah. He done had longevity. He done put up the numbers. But the rest of these dudes, no.
Well, it's funny. You
Bobby
say that.
A. Bear was a good, solid quarterback.
He was fine.
You're telling me that who was the third guy? You're saying Bo Nix is definitely better than Bobby A. Bear? Come on,
I think it's a little early to say.
It's a little early. Well, you said those guys were better.
I would take off what he's done so far. I would take
You're
Bo Nix over
prisoner
Bobby
of the
A. Bear.
moment.
No, I'm not.
If Bo Nix,
I'm the last guy
Jason,
to be prisoner of the moment.
Generally, you are. That's why I'm stunned here. If you took Bo Nix and he played in the 80s, he'd be just like those guys. You know that. It's different. Guys,
I think Randall Cunningham today
would be even
a
better.
Superstar.
Yes, yeah.
Now,
he would be phenomenal.
Now, here's what I will say. This is not refutable. Quarterbacks back then, they do things that are impossible. Just like pitchers, when pitchers was Nolan Ryan was complete games. They're not doing that no more. I guarantee this. There is 3 quarterbacks I can think of right now that called their own plays. Bernie, Dan Marino, and Jim Kelly.
Nobody's doing
would
that.
call run and pass plays.
Even Tom Brady didn't.
Even Tom Brady had Josh McDaniels that was calling plays. These dudes is going to the line of scrimmage being like, I decided I'm going to run the ball right now.
NFL, though. You can't blame the current guys when that's the whole
but you're blaming you're not. You want us to take that into account.
If we're going to take one, we got to take both. If we're taking none, we take none.
You got guys in college holding up cards.
Holding up cards. What an embarrassment. Now I'll give you this.
It's an apple,
I'll
2
give you
oranges,
this.
You know what?
and a helmet.
You know what the play Brady was drawing up? Hey, run down there.
I'll give you this.
That's the play he was drawing up.
I will say that overall, top to bottom, quarterbacks are probably a little better now. Overall, a little better.
Thank you for the right side.
And definitely more athletic. But
Athletic, right?
The main reason is because even into the 80s, there was a massive bias against black quarterbacks.
That's true.
That is true.
So there weren't many black quarterbacks, and so your quarterback pool is not going to be as good because it wasn't as open.
Hey.
So yes, top to bottom, it was a little better. It's a little better now, but to make it seem like, oh, Ken O'Brien stinks, but Trevor Lawrence is some great player.
I think the play today is better than it was in the 80s. That's all I said.
But you got.
But we also got to. I forgot one guy.
But I say that for basketball, Mike loses his mind.
If you
You're gonna tell me some of these schleps playing basketball now are better than Larry Bird or Magic
basketball
Johnson.
players are
You're out
more
of your mind.
skilled now than they were in the past. It's undeniable.
No.
There are a couple of things. Go back and you want to look at apples to apples.
Yeah.
Go look at Warren.
No, I'm making the same argument.
Go look at Warren Moon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When he was throwing the ball around. Now you look at his numbers and you look at what they was doing comparable to now. He was throwing it around to some of the times and he was phenomenal.
And they were running an offense somewhat similar to today, too.
And he didn't even play in the NFL right away.
Yeah, he had to go to USFL to get money off at
USFL
first.
or was it Canadian?
Canadian. CFL. He was one of them FLs.
He was in he was in a different FL.
He was in a whole different FL.
Yeah, the elite guys transcend time. No one's arguing that.
Yeah.
The Marinos, the Moons, the
Yeah.
Joe Montana, like those guys, any area you put them in, they can play. I just think, and once again, I'm basing
But
off.
you think
stuff
there's
that
more
I didn't
elite
see.
guys now? I don't believe.
I'm not saying there's more elite guys now. I just think what a quarterback can do now is significantly more than what the average quarterback could do in
also,
1980.
these guys are training from the age of
That's
13.
right.
You're right.
And those guys would have done the same.
Yeah, but
so
they didn't.
a guy like Ken O'Brien or whatever, would have been better. You even said it. If Randall Cunningham played now,
Yes.
forget about it.
Yes.
Hey, man,
Even Michael Vick.
Hey, Ken Stabler and them was smoking cigarettes, man.
Yeah.
Ken Stabler.
They were working construction in the offseason, knocking back 6
Right.
packs.
Hey, that's why I got a lot of love for them dudes in that area. Back then, people was going to wars, coming back home, working in the mechanic shop, and hitting
They'd
60
take other
home runs.
jobs.
Yeah. When of course, if you're training for something from the time you're 13 years old, which a lot of the elite ones are,
Right.
like even younger probably, but certainly by 12, 13, 14, you got quarterback coaches and all this stuff. It's funny, I just wrote about this last week on and I'm actually going to agree with you on this. Shut up. It just feels like we're just in a lull right now of quarterback play. And I mentioned it before, and you kind of dismissed it, but it's Burrow, it's Allen, it's Mahomes, and Lamar at the top. And when I was at the Combine, I was just kind of kicking around like, why? And I had some people say, well, you should have, just won the Super Bowl.
Sam Darnold.
I'm sorry. No, not
Drake
Darnold.
May, you're talking about.
No,
in the Super Bowl.
Rams.
Oh, Matt Stafford.
Stafford.
I agree. Stafford's in that group.
Stafford should be in that
Yes.
group.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
losing my mind.
Yeah, but that's it.
And that's it. And
Yeah.
and no one really had a good answer as to why there's this little bit of lull. And some of it was college. All these guys are jumping around so much, and the coaches are jumping around so much that there's no stability. So there's no real development there because you're just jumping from system to system. So guys aren't getting developed maybe as good as they were even 10 years ago because you were able to stay in one system. I don't know. And NIL certainly plays into it because some of these guys that would have been out by now keep pushing it back and pushing it back.
Yeah.
So maybe next year's when the dam breaks open and more top quarterbacks come out. No one really had a very good answer.
Well, and you look at the guys who we thought over the last few years, the guys we thought might get into that group, they've all been wildly inconsistent, whether it's due to injury or what else. I mean, like Jaden Daniels is a rookie. You're like, oh, my God, the next superstar. And then he was hurt last year. So now Drake May was okay as a rookie, was very good the second year. We'll see what he does next year. C.J. Stroud, amazing rookie. Yeah. But he's been mediocre since.
Hey, Mike, pull up Trevor's draft class because that was actually – that's what –
Yeah.
It was Trevor
Well,
Lawrence.
he was supposed to be a superstar, and he's not been.
Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and Mac Jones. Those
that
are the 5
class.
quarterbacks.
Dane Brugler
But who
pointed –
thought they were going to be any good besides him?
Well, look where they went.
I didn't think they were going to be any good.
I think
They shouldn't have been.
I think one of the things that contribute to why those dudes didn't really step up and why they're not as wildly consistent is I believe that we'll talk about it later on. Offensive line play. I think offensive line play has decreased some. And I think that defensive linemen and defensive linemen, D tackles, defensive ends, are freaks of nature.
I think there's something to that. I think G is right. I think I was kind of half jokingly saying they should play with 12 guys on offense with a 6th offensive lineman.
But I mean, they can't block these guys.
The defensive linemen have become so over the top athletic that it's a huge disadvantage. I think that's a big part of why so many quarterbacks are struggling.
And we'll talk about it. Hey, the Browns went and got some linemen, so we'll see if that helps out a lot, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, it's a fun debate.
Last stat. I'm going to present you one stat, then we're moving on. The average completion percentage in the NFL in 1988 was 54.3%.
It's funny to listen to.
I know.
Right.
It's funny to listen to.
54.3%. This past season, the average completion percentage of the league was 64.3%, a 10% increase. 29 quarterbacks this season would have led the league in 1988 in completion percentage. I know stats are different.
If you knew how absurd that was.
That is directly related to what you said about how guys could defend and
yes.
you could get you could stab a man at midfield.
I just like the number. It was a fun
helmet
number.
to helmet,
exactly 10%
horse collar,
increase.
There was nothing. You could do anything you wanted.
No defenseless receivers. Like you could set somebody up.
Defenseless receiver.
Gee, my idea to stop the tush.
Not to mention how many guys you think played with concussions in those days.
Oh, all of them.
Everybody.
I remember Al Toon. For whatever reason, he's got a concussion. He'll be back in the second quarter. The next week, Al Toon's got a concussion. He'll be back. That man had at least 5 concussions.
5? He probably had 50.
Back in the day, if you didn't play well, you didn't get water.
But do you remember,
what?
ESPN used to celebrate this with the jacked up segment. You remember that?
That was great.
It was a great segment.
It wasn't that long ago they stopped doing that.
No, for all the youngins, go out and find on YouTube the jacked up segment.
I still like seeing that stuff.
It was a terrific segment.
The league office was like,
we got to get into the topics,
sued
guys.
already.
That was a great start to the show. That was a great debate. Let's get into some other topics that we're going to hit today. Quick reminder that starting Monday the 23rd, we are changing times from 11 a.m. to 10 a.m. It is 10 to 12, first hour just on the WKYC app, second hour both on the WKYC app and on YouTube. Like usual, take a picture of the QR code on your screen. It'll take you right to the download page for the WKYC app, and we appreciate all your guys' support.
I'm stressed out this morning, guys. I have construction on my street. The power went out of my house this on the block because the power line's down. The weather stinks. Yeah. I'm making teams for baseball. It's stressing me out. I'm having a surgery in 6 days. I'm losing it.
Well, then you're going to lose it on this next topic. I'll start with you both. FanDuel put out its over-under win projections for each NFL team based off the first few days of free agency. This is how the NFC
not based
North,
off of, but adjusted.
Well, based off of before the draft, post free agency.
Before the draft.
But
I get it. People
and they change it again.
Of course.
The reason they do this is if you like a number and you think a team's going to draft a certain position, this is a time to get in because there's actually some pretty good value on the board. Here's how the AFC North panned out. They had the Baltimore Ravens at 11.5 wins, the Bengals at 9.5, the Steelers at 7.5, the Browns at 6.5, with the heavy juice on the under. If you think the Browns win more than 7 games this year, 7 or more, it is a great time to get on the over. It's plus 130 on the over. It is minus 165 on the under. They are begging you to take the over.
Yeah.
Bull. Yeah. We're going to do something a little different. We're not going to say, is it too high, too low?
Oh.
I want you to give me the blueprint. What is the blueprint for the Browns to hit the over on that number? To get to 7, 8, 9 wins, what is the blueprint for the Browns in 2026?
It's taking this new offensive line that you're putting together. They've added, there's going to be at least 3 new – there'll be 4 new starters, maybe 5.
Maybe 5.
And you've already added 4 linemen, including what's Jenkins' first name that they re-signed? Tevin, right. So including him, that's 4 guys you brought in via offensive line and via free agency and trade, and I assume they'll take a left tackle either somewhere in the first round, I assume. So you have Shedeur Sanders is probably their starting quarterback at the beginning of the season, probably, if I had to bet right now. So he's a rookie quarterback. He has a long way to go. He struggled mightily. What can you do to help him? Well, most importantly, you can protect him. He did not have good protection. He did not have good weapons, but we'll get to that later. So he had no protection, and How do you make that better? Well, you improve your offensive line, but also you got to effectively run the ball. They did not effectively run the ball last year. I blame very little of that on Quinshon Judkins. I think it was mostly the offense, almost all the offensive line, maybe the scheme as part of that too. So I would double down on running back. I don't necessarily, I've been kind of talking about Jeremiah Love. I know they're probably not going to do that. But if I'm the Browns, I would invest in another running back high in this draft, on the higher end. And I would want to be like the Ravens were, a team that runs the ball a ton. You got Judkins, he's going to be healthy, he's really good. Shedeur Sanders is a better athlete than he was given credit for. He can run a little bit. I mean, he's not going to do what Lamar Jackson does, but he can run a little bit. And Sampson's fine as your third back. I'd get another back. I'd continue to build this offensive line with a left tackle, and I would run the hell out of the ball. That's it. You got to hope that the defense doesn't take a step back, because the defense last year is good enough to win 7 games, sure. They won 5. So to win 7 or more, the Browns have to be a top 8 rushing team. And if you can be top 8 rushing and top 8 defense, then you can win 7+ games. Especially because the division's not great. I'm actually on the under on the Ravens. And I'm not that high on the Ravens. I don't love their team. Besides, obviously Lamar Jackson's great, but I think their team's a little overrated right now. And the division's not great. The schedule on paper right now, for what it's worth, looks favorable for all the teams in the division. So that's how I would do it. And would I bet on it? No, I would not. Not right now. I think the Browns probably win 5 or 6, but could they win 7? Sure, if they can run the ball at a high clip, because they just don't have the talent right now to be excellent as a passing offense. Can they get to mediocrity there? I hope. I don't know. But you could get to elite, I think, potentially, or at least very good as a running team. I think that's possible, or more realistic. So that's the process to get there.
Gee, what's the blueprint in your mind?
The blueprint is exactly the first step is what they've done. They went out and retooled the offensive line. Some of them are question marks in terms of what their upside is and what they're going to be injury-wise. But you got to have enough bodies that you're not counting on some of these people. If Zach Zenner gives you anything, great. If DeJuan Jones gives you something, awesome. If you can get something for Luke Whippler, cool. Those guys will get back and compete, but I don't think you could have went into the offseason just saying, we about to just have these guys up there moving around. Nope. I don't think that's what it was, and I think they've gotten those body types. I also think that they've done a good enough job in getting and filling those holes with potential starters. So now you can do what we call best available, right? You don't have that many super glaring needs, where now if you have a tackle rated high, you could take him at 6. If you like Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson, you have him on your board high, you could take him. But if you have a guy like Miller who kind of falls to you in the second round that you could potentially get, that you think has a first round grade, you might do something like, hey, I want to go ahead and get me one of the best defenders if they're available. Let me just be clear. I don't know what the Cleveland Browns are going to do in the draft, but the second part of the program is the defense has to be the defense. Now, the Cleveland Browns have, in the last 3 years, they've been up and down when it comes to defense. Sometimes on the road, they ain't the same team. At home, they get after the quarterback and they do their thing. But if the Cleveland Browns defense can be a top 10, top 5 defense and win games like they did in the last game of the season against the Cincinnati Bengals, where basically the defense in the interception and pick 6 won. They won the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers at home because the defense just wouldn't allow them to get down the field and score points. So if you can get that defense and you can kind of build on a blueprint with what the Seattle Seahawks did, and what if they decide, listen, we're gonna make a example out of y'all. We're gonna get the best defender available and throw it on with the defense and make the defense better. I think that goes into it. So if you can have the defense play the way the defense is going to play, the Browns defense in Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Carson Schwarzenegger, they should have you in a lot of these football games. The question is, what do you do offensively? What you need to do is you need to get you another dude. If you can get Carnell Tate and you can move Jerry Jeudy back, down to a number 2 or he's not the focal point, and you don't got to get the year he had with Jerry Jeudy a couple of years ago where he had, 1,300 yards. Give me 1,000. Cut down on the drops, right? That's gotta happen. Don't slow down and get stripped. Don't do that. Like, if you can get Jerry Jeudy to get that off and you get Quinshon Judkins to do something, and I'm exactly with you. I need another back. Sampson is cool, third down back. Give me another running back that can split those carries up with Judkins. We need a strong running game. And then Todd Monken, work your magic. You need to figure out how you can still get Shedeur Sanders to have the eye for the deep pass, have the eye to make the splash plays, still be able to extend. But we want to cut down on turnovers. We want to make sure that he's not giving the ball away and understanding what circumstances we need to not put the ball in harm's way. If you can coach that part, because I did see the pocket presence get better. You started to see him move around and scramble and do some things. A couple of games, he was the leading rusher. If you can get him to cut down on those turnovers and then maximize the running game and get you another couple playmakers, I think you can look at that game, at this defense, at the offense, what Todd Monken can do with the new upgrades. I think you can get 7 wins. The goal is 8. That's what the goal got to be. They said 5 wasn't good enough, Jason. So it got to be at least 7, 8-ish in that year for Andrew Berry.
I think you guys covered most of it. The thing that's curious to me is, do you have any idea what they're going to run on offense, what they're going to look like?
None.
I have no idea.
No, not yet, but we got time.
So, no, I know, but I'm saying, like, it's hard to say, give me a blueprint to how do you get when you don't even know what the offense is going to look like in terms of scheme and in style. I agree with the running the ball. I think it's imperative to run the ball. Defensively, there's probably going to be a little slip. It's just natural. But when you got a new DC, some of the change, it doesn't mean the whole thing's going to unravel and fall apart. I think it's a very good defense. But to expect them to play at the level they did last year, I don't know if that's totally realistic. I think they're probably
a little slip they can live with.
Yeah.
A big slip, it's big trouble.
It's big trouble. Yeah. So, and I'm not expecting the whole thing to unravel.
I don't
think that's going to be the case. Yeah. There's just too much talent on that side of the ball. Another running back is fine. Add one to the mix. Cut down on turnovers and speed up the process. Stay ahead of schedule and speed up the processing. And you got to work with Shedeur to get the ball out of his hands faster. And you can't be in 2nd and 13. You can't be in 3rd and 9. Like, you have to be at 2nd and 6, 3rd and 3, and just stay on schedule. And that also goes back to line play with some of the false starts, some of the holdings that they had last year. Cam Robinson couldn't put his feet in the right place. How many times were there just silly penalties? So that has got to go.
And in recent years under Kevin Stefanski, certainly not all his fault, but part of the blame, they have been a very highly penalized team, especially pre-snap. They've been one of the worst teams in the league, and
that has to get cleaned up.
You can't win that way.
When you've got an offense that's already sort of trying to figure itself out, the worst thing you can put them in is 1st and 15. That's the worst thing you can do.
You'll always see once in a while there'll be like one good team that gets a lot of penalties. But like if you have a top quarterback, you can overcome that a little more. If you have a young quarterback in his first full season playing, and you can't overcome those things. You just can't. So,
especially, add on top of that, the penalty, this is devastating. If you're a team that's heavily penalized, plus your special teams ain't good, the kicking game was okay with Schmidt. Like, he did actually.
He did a good job.
He did a really good job for him last year.
He saved Andrew Berry's job, according to the owner.
Yeah, he was. Right?
True, he was one of the guys.
And listen, he got mentioned in that postseason press conference. Now, here's the thing. The kicking game, there are guys in this draft that can help you at both places. Mekhi Lemon can return punts. Casey Concepcion out of Texas A&M could return punts. There's guys that will be available to you that could help you in the run game, the pass game, as well as in special teams. I mean, it seems like forever ago. When's the last time we had a guy that could have a solid punt return? I mean, Travis Benjamin.
That was the last guy.
Was the last guy,
ago,
right?
7 years ago?
You had what's the guy that got from he played for the Bears. He played running back, and they had him back with Deontay Foreman. They had Deontay Foreman returning kickoffs. I said, come on, guys. You ain't got nobody else besides Deontay Foreman.
I mean, in the last 20 years, you've had Cribbs and you've had Benjamin, and that's been about it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And worried about if Gage Larvadang, I used to hold my breath. When he was catching these punts, I'm like, listen, just catch it and lay it down. That's what we need.
That sounds like the name of the next pandemic, the Larvadan.
But I mean,
Larvadan 18.
I would even go.
Start.
I hate that actually makes sense.
Yeah, don't you do
I
that.
absolutely hate
Look, because we still traumatized from that little kid.
I hated that play.
I would even
Jason, what were you saying?
I'd even scale back a little bit on special teams. You don't have to win the game on special teams; just don't lose it.
Yeah, that's fair.
How many games?
I'd sign for them to be average this year on special teams.
I mean, catch the punt and fall down.
Yeah,
but don't give up the big returns.
Yeah,
is what was just the penalties and the returns is what just destroyed.
We lost the Jets game on a kickoff return and a punt return,
yeah.
and it was over.
Yeah,
See,
I mean,
the Rams lost the Super Bowl because they muffed the punt inside the 15-yard line. Seattle scored a touchdown.
yeah, their special
That's
teams was terrible.
That's right.
Didn't we just hire their special teams guy?
They hired our special teams guy.
Oh, they hired. That's right. All right.
Shout out to them.
Very good. All right, Mike.
Let's get to our next topic, guys. It's brought to us by the Charge. Tonight's a special night at Public Hall where you can experience Charge basketball. The Charge are the NBA G League affiliate for the Cavaliers. It's their 5th season in Cleveland. Charge alumni like Sam Merrill and Naquan Tomlin are two-way players that are showing that the G League is home to future stars in the NBA. Get ready for a magical tonight as Public Hall transforms into Hogwarts. It's Harry Potter night, presented by Nuevo on March 13th. Tonight at 7, the first 1,500 fans receive a free Charge scarf. Tickets are on sale now at clevelandcharge.com. I'll be there. I'm getting a scarf. I would not miss Harry Potter night for $1 million. Okay.
Mike thinks he's Idris Elba.
Nailed it. Come say what's up. See me at the game tonight.
Didn't the Chargers sign somebody interesting?
Malachi Branham. Now
Right.
They got a new best player. The G League's crazy because you could literally just sign your new best player like that.
Oh, the Cavs don't have to do it? The Charge can. Is there somebody is that something the Cavs do?
The Cavs don't have
or
an
the
open
Charge
roster spot.
Can they independently sign their own players?
Oh, independently sign their own players, yeah. Other than the 3 2-ways, the Charge operate as their own basketball.
I didn't realize.
I mean, can you try out for the Charge?
Yes, you can.
You just pull up.
They have designated tryouts, but
It's open.
But anybody can show up
on a Tuesday morning.
Anyone can show up
with the ball.
Hold on. This is why I asking him.
So in theory, I could show up for a Charge tryout.
I could get you a legitimate Charge tryout.
Bro.
That would be a funny.
That's a great segment.
That could be a funny segment.
When Bull, after your surgery, when you're in basketball shape, I promise you, with my connections, I could get you a tryout for the Charge.
Maybe a year from now.
We need to tape
yes,
that too.
We can,
a year
we can
from
make
now.
That happen. All right, guys, let's talk about the offensive
shape,
line.
Maybe ever, but
G. Bush, you mentioned offensive line play earlier. We're going to talk about some of the moves the Browns have made in totality with the offensive line. But Benjamin Solak, who's been on our show before, had his annual first week of free agency awards. And the Browns...
We've been waiting for these with bated breath.
We have. Well, the Browns got an award this year, and it was the classic overpay for the 1,001st time, and he gave it to Zion Johnson. It was a much longer write-up. I kind of summarized and paraphrased it. This is what Ben Solak had to say about the Zion Johnson signing, why he thinks it's an overpay, and then we'll discuss my follow-up question is if it even matters. But this is what Ben Solak of ESPN had to say. A 4-year starter with the Chargers, Johnson never blossomed into an above-average starter, despite his above-average traits. He struggles mightily with stunts, twists, and blitz in pass protection. Even on a straight rush, power gives him trouble, and he is more of a neutral player in the running game than a real road grader. Johnson was always going to get a sizable deal because of his age, only 26, durability, and athletic profile, but the Browns shouldn't have been the team to give it to him. They are not a guard away. End quote. Bull. Jason, I'll start with you on this. Overpay or not, who really cares? If he pans out, the money is the money. It is what it is. For a team like the Browns that had to spend as much to rebuild the offensive line from where it was last year, which was horrific, to a serviceable unit, do you really care if they had to,
you just said if it pans out. Like he's saying, well, it's not going to pan out because, of course, if everything pans out, it's worth it.
Do you think it's going to pan out then? We'll change the question to that.
Yeah,
do you think it'll pan out, G?
So I'll give you, it has a chance to, but here's the reality of the situation. When you're getting people on free agent deals, the reason that people are in free agency is either they're super, super duper good like Linderbaum and he wants a bag of money and you can't pay it because you may be up against the cap, or these guys are guys who have deficiencies or flaws in their game and the other team didn't want them. So yes, you're going to be, you're going to be picking up over the crate DVDs, right? Listen, we all go to Walmart or Target, and there's them DVDs in that bin. Back in the day, when you ain't got no cable, you're like, listen, I need to find something that I can watch and rewatch over and over again. So you're gonna pick up the Martin Lawrence, right? Martin season 2. I can watch Martin season 2. Cheers season 4. I can watch them over again. Do I want to do that if I had cable? No, but it's the best available thing I got for the entertainment. If I'm looking at this guard and I'm like, we need a guard, we need 5 offensive linemen. My job is to say, okay, can I get this guy to get coached up? If I got faith in my offensive line coach, I'm going to bring him in. Hey, take a look at this guy. He got raw traits. There's things that you can do on stunts and twists. Stunts and twists come down to 2 things. It comes down to discipline, and it comes down to film study and understanding what you need to do. And it also comes down to the second point. Are you in concert with everybody else? If you have somebody solid next to you and on the other side of you, you have a great opportunity to succeed. Offensive line play is unique in that factor where they're the only group of guys that are independent, but at the same time work in tandem. They touch people every play. They're in the run game. They're in the pass game. They block. They run block. They got to do 1,000 different things, and you never really notice how bad one of them is until they do something, and then the rest of the guys are looking at them like, "Hey, bro, you're supposed to pick that twist up. You're supposed to keep your shoulder square." So for me, the fact that they've built it and got some other guys around them makes me think it's a chance to work. But there are deficiencies in this game. But at 26, you hope that you can coach some of that out of them, and you can get them more aware of how we need to go about doing those things. And I think scheme counts. I think coaching counts. And if you're the Browns, let's be honest with you. Beggars can't be choosers. Your job is to fill the holes up front, and I think they did a good enough job of doing that, especially when he has some young traits. 26, he is an athlete. So Jason, at this point, what was they going to do?
I mean, that's exactly it. 2 things can be true. It can be an overpay, and you could be left with no choice to where you have to. And we talked about the other day. It's why I thought they would have a shot at Linderbaum, and why he wound up going to the Raiders. A lot of times, the offensive linemen, those take the money.
Yeah,
and it's not about who the receiver is, who the quarterbacks are. Sometimes it is, but when
that's
guys
usually more like the end of their careers.
Yeah, but for right now, they're going to go to the biggest dollar, and the Browns are in the position where they kind of have to overpay to get guys to come here. That's just the reality of it. I have no idea if he's going to be any good or not. I totally agree with what you said about offensive line play is predicated on who's next to you. I mean, how many times did I come in here and tell you guys Wyatt Teller had to tell DeJuan Jones what the play was when they're at the line of scrimmage? And I think the Browns have had such good guard play over the years with Joel and with Wyatt that it helped mitigate some of the issues with incorporating a new center or a new right tackle or whatever else. Well, now you got 5 new guys up there.
That's the thing.
And as we talk about, I think there's a continuity thing we're doing later on in the Guardians, which I admittedly rolled my eyes at a little bit because I don't think continuity is a big deal in baseball, but it's a huge thing here. Mm-hmm. And the more that you've got familiarity with these guys, and that's why OTAs are going to be crucial for this group this year, and just learning. Hopefully they're all there. Hopefully they're all healthy and they all show up, because they just need the time together and they need the instruction of what are you going to run? What's we don't know.
Yeah.
What's the offensive system going to be?
Right.
So it's a long way to go to say whether or not he's worth it. I'm not surprised that someone would label it as an overpay, and it makes you sort of scratch your head. The Chargers had a horrendous offensive line last year.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's his fault, but that's the reality of it.
Yeah. So most guys in free agency get overpaid.
Yes.
That's just especially.
So when you win the award for being overpaid in the category of overpaid,
I guess,
it's
but
really an overpay.
What are they paying him per year, Mike? What is Zion Johnson getting?
So it's 3 years, $49.5 million. It was 2 years, $32 million guaranteed, and that's the first 2 years. It's basically a true team option for the.
All right, so it's about $16 million and change
per year.
Which was if they had paid him $12 million a year, would have been fine.
I mean, I think they were.
Who cares? At that point?
I think it's actually less than what the guards were making last year. Joel and Wyatt were over 18, 19.
Those guys are more proven players.
Yes,
but
they are.
It was the highest guard contract given out, but only by slightly.
Yeah, like who cares? So if it would have been okay at $12 million a year, they paid him $16. The Browns are not a destination. So you got to pay more to get a guy. That's just the way it is. So if you're going to spend money in free agency that's a little over the top, I'd rather spend it on a 26-year-old who was a first-round pick who may have potential. And if he stinks, okay. He stinks. The Browns were terrible across the line last year. Now, left guard was their best position because Joel was their best player still at his age. But what they did overall with the offensive line, it was desperation mode. Andrew Berry has done a terrible job of building an offense. They have, outside of Judkins and Fannin, he has done nothing for the offense. And so you have, in the last 5 years, 6 years, you have done nothing to improve the offensive line. You have barely put any resources into new players. They put resources into guys who were already here. But you haven't drafted many offensive line in recent years, offensive linemen. They've all been, the ones you've drafted have been at best average and really not even that good. And so you left yourself in a spot here. But once they were in this spot, considering the spot they were in, I think they did a good job that they now have guys who are at least okay, serviceable NFL players. They didn't have that last year.
Not at tackle.
At tackle. They now have that at right tackle. They have it at guard. They had it at guard last year. They have it at guard again. They probably have it at center now. And you're going to draft a left tackle. So, it's a little bit of an overpay, but who cares? It doesn't matter.
I used this analogy on Wednesday. None of you guys were here, so I'll
I want to see if the same analogy I got. You give yours first.
Go ahead.
So I said Andrew Berry might be the worst offensive line drafter in the history of football. Like, he's 6 years, they have no serviceable offensive linemen. Injuries played a part of it, whatever. It's like if you live by yourself and you can't cook, but you keep buying groceries and you keep trying to buy groceries, you keep screwing up the recipe. At some point, you say, screw it, I'm door dashing. And you're getting a premium charge on DoorDash for the delivery fee and the DoorDash fee. And guess what?
You also get high cholesterol.
If you want to eat, you gotta do it because you can't cook it for yourself. If you got to overpay for a little bit in free agency because you haven't been able to find offensive linemen in other avenues, then so be it. And to your point, Bull, if you like Zion Johnson at $14 million, but you think who cares?
Yeah,
the Browns
I don't know.
Maybe
he would have not liked it
in any
price.
situation. If Ben Solak thinks it's an overpay, so be it. But you got to get offensive linemen one way or another. You've had no luck in the draft. If you got to pay the DoorDash premium to get them here, then pay the damn DoorDash premium.
Gee,
how'd I do?
They looked.
I like that.
You like that?
I really did like that. Like
they looked at him as they targeted him as the guard they were most interested in, and so it doesn't mean they're right. They could end up. Maybe they should have targeted Chris Paul, who still hasn't signed yet.
They were reportedly in on Elijah Vera Tucker.
Outbid
by New England.
But time will tell. The guy's young. You don't usually get a 26-year-old first-round pick. Who hasn't been terrible. He's just been. Yeah.
The analogy I had was I compared it to baseball. Like, he's sometimes up front, you just need innings eaters.
Right. Yeah.
You need
that's right.
guys in the bullpen who are going to be available, can eat up some innings. They're not going to be anything special, but you will at least want a high enough floor that you can eventually get a read on the quarterback. You want to build your roster enough to a point where there is no excuse. There is no hey, well, if your receivers and offensive line are bad, at least you build it up to a point where you can have a clear evaluation to say, okay, is this guy going to be it or not, and to see if he can be a quarterback. So this guy's going to eat some innings. Hopefully he can stay injury-free. Hopefully some of these other guys can come around and you get something from him as well. But what you want to do is you just want to give yourself a higher floor up front where you don't got guys whiffing blocks on critical plays, jumping off sides. Just give me average offensive line play and see what we're looking at.
Yeah, people get so caught up in how much money he was paid. Unless it stops you. The Browns have done such a terrible job with getting players, and the Deshaun Watson contract in particular has prevented them from doing some other things.
Absolutely.
It has,
it's
right?
It's foolish to say otherwise.
Right. But this is an extreme situation. Most teams are never in this spot, especially a team that has an advantage over every other team because their owner is willing to kick it. The Browns had to be so historically terrible for it to even be a factor in their case.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to pay a little more. Whether they paid this guy $16 million or even $10 million, that doesn't matter in the end. But But yeah, had they not screwed up these other things, maybe they would have had Tyler Linderbaum and they would have paid him, and but whatever.
You know what
they were in on Linderbaum and got outbid. So.
In a perfect world, they would have signed Linderbaum. You would have put Jenkins at left guard, Linderbaum at center, Tevin Jenkins at right guard, Titus Howard at right tackle, and then you would have, you draft your left tackle.
G, you were saying something.
If you looked at his stat sheet and it said that he played 14 games, started 14, I'll take it. Because if you start 14 games, that means for the most part, maybe you were out a couple of games because you were injured, maybe you couldn't go, but you gave me a level of stability where if he starts all the games, that means he's
Didn't he?
I think he did
last year.
Who, Zion?
Yeah.
Zion's only missed 2 games in 4 years.
If I look at the end of the year and he started all the games, that means he did a good enough job that he didn't get replaced and he was durable to a point where there was some continuity up front. And if you could do that and you don't have to get replaced because you're one of the worst guards according to PFF, or you can't keep the quarterback upright, I'll take it.
Are Howard and Jenkins, have either of those guys been injury prone?
Jenkins, Elton, the one they signed from Green Bay, broke his leg last year. He's coming off a broken leg. Tevin Jenkins, very injury prone.
Jenkins, I know.
Howard, very serviceable, has not missed much time in his career.
Besides the broken leg last year, has Jenkins missed time?
Let me double check.
He failed his physical, didn't he? That's why the Packers cut him.
He did. Zach said that could be, an excuse they use.
Right, yeah.
Jenkins, so Jenkins played as a rookie in 19. This is year by year.
Yeah.
16, 8. I'm not sure what the injury was in 2021. 15, 15, 17, and then 9.
Okay, that's 5 out of 7 years split all season.
Okay, that's bad.
So you've added 3 guys who have been relatively healthy in their careers to very healthy.
Compared to Conklin and DeJuan Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys were just,
Right. Yeah.
So
they get the ultimate durability piece in Zion Johnson, who's replacing the ultimate durability piece in Joel Bitonio. The other ones, you get a major upgrade at durability in right tackle, Howard over Conklin. At left tackle, we're still waiting to see who they fill that spot with.
Yeah.
At center, we assume it'll be Elton Jenkins, who's been durable, and then Tevin Jenkins at right guard, if that's the route they decide to go.
Right.
He's been hit or miss on the injury front.
Yeah,
but they will have depth.
Yeah, there's a possibility that Whippler starts at center and then Elton Jenkins moves to one of the guard spots.
Yeah,
so we'll see. All right, go ahead, Mike.
Let's get to our next topic, guys. We got 2 more we got to get to before we head over to WKYC for our second to last 12:30 WKYC show. Yeah. After that, obviously, we're changing times. Download the WKYC app to watch the first hour. Also, follow us on social media. While you're here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're still trying to grow our YouTube page, so those likes and those subscriptions mean the world to us. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and you will get the same old UCSS content you guys have always gotten, no matter where we're at. All right, guys, we're going to do this topic on Monday. Didn't have time. I thought we could have a little fun with it today. And it's funny, we started today's show arguing over quarterbacks from the 80s, the 90s, early 2000s, and now. Fox put out a quarterback trade value list. And we're going to show you the whole thing. We're going to start with the Browns related. Then we'll talk about the other guys because I actually don't disagree with the Browns side of it, but I disagree with a lot of other parts of this. So here's Fox Sports' QB tiers by trade value. On the untouchable list, Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Drake May, Lamar, Jordan Love. The Godfather offer list, Herbert, Caleb Williams, Dak, Jaden Daniels, Purdy, and Trevor Lawrence. The mega blockbuster, Bo Nix, Cam Ward, Fernando Mendoza.
You're going too fast.
Sam Darnold.
Mega blockbuster. Go ahead and mega blockbuster. Go ahead.
Bo Nix, Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Fernando Mendoza, Sam Darnold, Jalen Hurts, and Jared Goff. The regular blockbuster, Stafford, Baker, Jackson Dart, and C.J. Stroud. The first round value, Bryce Young, Tyler Shuck, who I can finally pronounce his name without having to double take. And day 3 value, Daniel Jones, Michael Penix, J.J. McCarthy, Jacoby Brissett, Shedeur Sanders, Will Howard, Justin Fields, and Tua Tagovailoa. G. Bull, shut up.
Tag.
G. Bull,
shout out to Tua Tag.
We'll get to Bull being a hater at the end of the show, I promise. G, real quick, before we dive into some of the others. Is there any case that Shedeur should be at a different tier than the day 3 value, or is he correctly placed by Fox Sports here?
He's on the right level. I mean, this is actually very easy. I mean, he doesn't have enough of a sample size to be higher than that. I mean, look at it. Some of the Daniel Jones, he's there because he's injury prone. Penix is there because he'd be injured. J.J. McCarthy hasn't really done anything. You take a look at who else is down there.
That's Brissett, Will Howard, Justin Fields.
They just
and
gave
Tua.
up and threw everybody else in the final box.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how Will Howard has a day 3 value. He didn't even play, bro.
He hadn't even.
Well, because they were just putting all 32
That's what I'm saying.
quarterbacks.
Yeah, okay.
They just gave up.
They should have done one more column.
Aaron Rodgers is expected to be
it should
the
have been
actual
Aaron
quarterback,
Rodgers
but
on there. I don't know why they did Will Howard.
And Malik Willis isn't on here because he's technically a backup. This was before free agency started. This was the 32 starting quarterbacks, hence Tua and not Malik Willis, for what it's worth.
Now, I'm looking at it from a perspective. Like, I'm looking at it, and if you just ask me, like, he's appropriately slotted day 3 value. I don't think many people will argue with that, like, based on just the sample size and what it is, the body of work at this point is, you can't put him no higher than that. But if you look at it, the thing I got crazy about, I'm like, how is Mendoza on the mega blockbuster? What are we doing? Like, how is that mega blockbuster? Like,
because
he's going to be the number
That's
one.
Why. Yeah.
I mean, Cam Ward is up there too.
I mean, I wouldn't. If you looked at it and you said, I think Cam Ward is really, 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 really good as far as his skill set. He just needs to mature. I could see where somebody would say,
right, but somebody could say the same thing about there's probably as many people like Fernando Mendoza as Cam Ward.
If you're going to trade for the number 1 pick, it's going to be a block. I don't think they should be a mega blockbuster.
Yeah.
But if a team's going to move up this year, theoretically, say the Raiders don't love him and you're going to trade up for the number 1 pick, that would be a blockbuster trade.
I just have a hard time saying, for me, I'm looking at it like, how the heck is Matt Stafford?
That's
in no world.
Age is the only reason. Yeah.
But still, it's not like put it back up there for a second, Mike, because there's somebody like Dak Prescott's not young, and Matt Stafford's
Dak?
better.
I don't remember where they put Dak.
Dak's in the
Dak is the godfather.
The godfather.
That's Jalen Hurts being over.
Trevor Lawrence is way too high.
Yes.
Dak's too high.
Purdy's too high.
Purdy's too high. I agree.
Listen, your boy from New York too high.
Jackson Dart?
That's way too high. He at least got to be.
Where is he? I don't even see him.
He's just a regular blockbuster.
I mean, he's on.
You'd have to give up 2 first-round picks to get Jackson Dart right now.
Man, Jackson Dart Jackson Dart ain't even Baker.
Well,
yeah, but he's on a rookie contract though.
Yeah, I mean they're factoring all these things in. I don't have a problem with where Jackson Dart is. I have a problem with.
Bryce Young's not getting a first-round pick, I don't think.
No.
He's too high.
But that's what I'm saying. They need more
categories.
So
let's start with the first row. Jordan Love should not be on that first row.
Yeah, Jordan Love is not untouchable.
I don't even think Drake May should be up there, honestly, but I mean.
So Jordan Love.
Yeah, how's he in that first group?
Like I said, my issue with this wasn't the Browns. It was a lot of the other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Shedeur, he's played 7 games. He didn't play particularly well. Of course, you got to put him on the bottom now. Doesn't mean he couldn't get up higher, but I mean the first group should just be Burrow, Allen, Mahomes, and Lamar to me.
Yeah.
And then I would have the second group. Who's the first guy in the second group?
Herbert.
I can't even see it.
Herbert.
Oh, Herbert. Yeah. To me, the second group would be May, Daniels, Caleb Williams. And that might be it for me. I'd put the 3 of those guys in the second group. And then I'd go group 3, Herbert, Dak, Purdy, Nix, Hurts.
You have Darnold in that. Darnold's on a much cheaper contract than the other non-rookies.
Lawrence, and Goff. I'd have a big group 3. And then group 4 for me. No, I'm sorry. And I would still have Stafford in group 1 or 2, even though he's old. I would still do that. I'd put Baker in that third group also. And then in the fourth group, I'd have Cam Ward, Mendoza, Jackson Dart, C.J. Stroud, and Tyler Shuck.
Hey, man, listen.
And then tier 5 for me, sorry, I'm rambling, but tier 5 would be Bryce Young.
And everyone on the bottom.
And no, I'd have separate tiers.
Oh, you're gonna add a 6th tier here.
Yeah.
There are 6 tiers there.
There are.
There are already 6 tiers. Yeah.
You need 7.
Add a 7th.
7. Yeah. I'd have Bryce Young, Daniel Jones. Who's that next to Daniel Jones?
Penix.
I'd have Penix.
McCarthy, Brissett, Shador, Will Howard, Fields, and Tua.
And then Penix in tier 6, and the rest of the guys in tier 7. Maybe Tua in tier 6.
He just got cut with the biggest dead cap hit ever. I'm not sure he's got much value. Jason, what would you do?
Well, I'm not doing that. I'm not going through and
Yeah.
That's a long.
That was a long haul thing.
Redoing all. I mean, I think they're relatively close. I think they probably needed a 7th category at the bottom. Like I said, I think they just gave up and
they're like, let's just put everybody else there.
How you have Will Howard on there at all is a joke.
He hasn't even played.
Like you might.
Did he take any snaps last year?
No, he was hurt. I don't know.
Although Fernando Mendoza hasn't played either.
Yeah, I know.
But Fernando Mendoza at least going to be a first overall pick. Will Howard was like where was he drafted?
5th round, right?
Yeah,
6th round.
5th round also?
5th, 6th.
He was a 6th round.
Right, a 6th rounder who didn't play.
Yeah.
He did not play a single
Right.
snap.
Yeah, so he shouldn't even be up there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Trevor Lawrence is too high. I think Dak's too high. I mean, this is what you do in March to kill time.
It's fine.
You do stuff like this.
I don't understand Jordan Love in that first group.
No, I would agree that he needs to come down.
Yeah.
He's good. Don't get me wrong, but he's not untouchable. He's not.
No.
He doesn't have higher trade
By the way,
value.
you asked me Jordan Love or Jaden Daniels. I'm taking Jaden Daniels.
Oh, I would too.
Yeah, I would too.
I know it was a disaster last year for Jaden Daniels, but I'm taking him over
rookie
Jordan
contract and
Well, that's why I think the rookies or the Caleb Williams, the Drake May, the Jaden, anyone on a rookie contract in that sense just has more. Now,
I would take Drake May, Caleb Williams, and Jaden Daniels all over Jordan Love for me. I'm not saying
I would too.
I might be in the minority there, but I would.
I'm not sold on Caleb Williams yet.
I like Caleb Williams a lot.
Would you take him over Justin Herbert?
Who?
Those
Jordan
three.
Love?
No, the 3 young guys.
If I were starting a team today, yes, I'd take all 3 of them over Justin Herbert.
Herbert.
I think he's the most overrated quarterback in the league.
Because he's got all the skills and all the talent, and it just doesn't. It hasn't translated.
Nope.
At some point, you got to look at him.
Yeah.
We've changed out everything else.
Yeah, I just some of these I get it. Some of these young dudes on here, I'm like, man, I don't even know why you even got these dudes on the tier list. They should have just cut it at a certain list and said everybody else is unproven.
Yeah.
It was
like
it was
Caleb
off
Williams?
32 quarterbacks.
I like Caleb Williams.
I think Caleb Williams is going to be fantastic.
I do too.
I'm really high on him.
I think he has the propensity to be up and down.
Yeah,
based
a little
on
of that, but
based on now, here's the thing. Remember, we talked about this last year. I need to see the 2 years, right? You know what I'm saying? The thing is, I need to see it. You did something this year. All right, now people know you.
Yeah.
You doing your thing.
Yeah.
Now let's see what you do when everybody know what you're talking about.
I think Caleb's got a little Baker in him in terms of he plays with
Yeah.
I don't give a you know what, I'm going to do this.
When it chips
and it'll
down,
bite him sometimes,
yeah.
but I think he's better. I think ultimately he's more talented than Baker, and he's going to be a better quarterback.
There was I think it was Chase Daniel who did it. Maybe it was Alex Smith on ESPN, but one of the former quarterbacks did a breakdown on some of the Caleb Williams throws that he can make on the run.
Yeah.
That defy basically all levels of physics, and that's what makes him such a unique. He's
a freak.
Talent, yeah. Talent doesn't always equal production and the best, but he does things that other quarterbacks simply can't do. Just real quick before we move on this.
Yeah.
Baker or C.J. Stroud, who do you think has more trade value? Trade value, not who's better. Who has more
C.J.
trade
Stroud.
value?
I agree.
C.J. Stroud.
He's younger.
Baker's got what, 1 year left?
Yeah.
On his deal?
Baker is what he is. He's either the bottom, he's either the end of the good enough to win with quarterbacks or the top of the not good enough to win with quarterbacks.
He's in that 12 to 17 range.
Whereas C.J. at his best was better than that. Yeah. But it's disappeared.
I would take C.J. every day of the week.
Yes.
Over Baker.
Or Jalen Hurts, who has higher trade value?
Jalen.
I would take Jalen personally. I don't think either has a ton of trade value, but
I can't.
Darnold is growing.
I can't believe I'm even question
this. Darnold.
I mean, at this point, I just don't trust Jalen Hurts as a authentic thrower of the football when it counts. Now, not to say that Sam Darnold is super duper cold, but Jalen Hurts has. I mean.
To me, Jalen Hurts is used as a scapegoat by the Eagles.
I really like Jalen Hurts.
I like Jalen Hurts too. He's not great, but he's really good.
Yeah.
And I think A.J. Brown's a bigger problem than Jalen Hurts. A.J. Brown, shut up, man.
Yeah.
The team's good. I know they didn't have a good year last year.
I still don't.
I want to hear you complaining.
I still can't figure out why he mad.
Because receivers are always pissed off about something.
But you,
not all of them.
A lot of them.
You've been to this. You won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You've been to a couple of them.
Yeah.
You just got a new contract.
Yeah.
Why you mad, bro?
Yeah. Why are you throwing Hurts under the bus?
You got the bag.
He's a receiver.
What'd you say, Mike?
He's a receiver. This is what his whole mantra his entire career.
That's why I said there's so many.
Who else is so bad like that right now?
Stephon Diggs.
All right, there's a few guys, but it's not like every good receiver.
Throughout history, the receivers have been more diva and big mouth than any other position in football.
Chase and Jefferson are not that way.
Okay, great. There's a lot of others who are.
All right, last one. We'll move on.
Yeah.
Because I just think this is fun.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott or Trevor Lawrence? Who has more trade value?
Trevor Lawrence. He's younger.
Trevor Lawrence, he's younger.
Dak Prescott's better, but Trevor Lawrence is younger.
I'd rather have Dak. I'd take Dak
For
over
this
Trevor
year, I'd rather have Dak.
Yeah.
For the next 5 years, I'd rather have Lawrence because he's
Purdy or Lawrence?
Purdy or Lawrence? Lawrence.
Purdy. I'd take Purdy.
Lawrence.
Yeah. I still think Lawrence is more talented, so I would take him.
And let's end on a high note. Shador or Will Howard?
Come on, man.
I'll take Shador.
Look, but Jason, are you going to say it?
Jason?
are you going to say it?
I will take Shador over.
Yay!
Wait, no. Get him on camera. Let's give him a one shot.
I will take Shador over Will Howard.
Cut it.
Can you put your
Oh, cut it. Post it.
You got to put it up if you.
Oh, it's bro.
All right, that was fun. All right, guys, let's get to our next topic. Talk a little Cavs for a second. The Cavs G League affiliate, the Charge, are back in action tonight at Public Hall. The Charge are the NBA G League affiliate of the Cavaliers. It's their 5th season in Cleveland. Charge alumni like Sam Merrill and Naquan Tomlin are proving that two-way players are the future of the NBA. They have 3 two-way players tonight for the Charge: Tristan Enaruma, Riley Minix, and Olivier Sarr. Tonight is a special night at Public Hall. It's presented by Nuevo Bull. Why is tonight so special? It is
Harry Potter. Oh, Harry Potter. Harry Potter.
It's Harry Potter night.
We need Aaron for this. He does a great British accent. I can't
Can
do
you
it.
get Aaron to record it saying it's Harry Potter night at the Cleveland Charge? We'll post it from our Twitter account when I get there. I will be there.
I will do it.
Come say what's up. If you want to get your tickets, go to clevelandcharge.com. Should be a good one tonight to take on the Santa Cruz Warriors. All right, guys, let's talk a little Cavs here for a second. They have a game tonight against the Mavericks. They're home again on Sunday against the Mavericks. Max Strus expected to make his return on Sunday when they're home against the Mavericks. But I want to look big picture here for a second for the Cavaliers. Historically speaking in the NBA, you have needed a top 5 player to win a championship. There have been exceptions, there have been anomalies, but for the most part, you need a top 5 guy. The Cavs may not have a bona fide top 5 guy, but you'd have a hard time arguing they don't have a top 10, a top 15, a top 25.
Who's the last team to win without a top 5 guy?
The Pistons in 04.
Dallas. Dirk wasn't top 5.
Was it top 5?
Yeah.
No.
At that stage of his career, he was probably
the
5 to 10.
The Celtics.
Really?
Celtics when KG and them won. Big 3. None of them went in the top 5.
Really? KG was not in the top 5?
Wasn't KG finished second in MVP that year?
If you go back and look, I don't think KG was in the top 5. He was outside of his prime.
So,
it doesn't happen often.
So, Donovan Mitchell is the Cavs' best player.
Top 10, undoubtedly.
Is he? He's undoubtedly top 10?
Undoubtedly top 10.
This year, yes. Yes. And most years, yeah. Yeah, he's top 10.
He's a top 10 guy. I'll die on that hill. He's a top 10 player.
When is the last time a team won where their best player was not better than Donovan Mitchell? Because Dirk better than Donovan Mitchell and KG better than Donovan Mitchell, right?
Yes.
Do you have to go to that Pistons team?
I mean, probably.
Yes.
Probably.
And that's not to knock Donovan Mitchell, but...
No. But that's the question. They don't have a bona fide top 5 guy that historically you have looked at.
So who does? San Antonio does?
Like this season, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, the top 5 guys: San Antonio with Wemby,
Denver,
SGA,
Denver,
Oklahoma City,
SGA,
the Lakers,
Jokic.
the Lakers, and then are we counting Giannis if he's healthy? But they're not going to make the playoffs, so he's out.
So we won't count him. So nobody in the East has a top 5 player.
I mean, Tatum, if you want to count Tatum.
Right now, who's the best player in the East besides Giannis?
Don or Jaylen Brown.
Man.
Or Cade Cunningham. One of those three.
Oh, Cade Cunningham. Is Cade Cunningham the best player in the East?
One of those 3.
Yeah, it's one of them three.
All right, well, come on, basketball guys. Give me an answer. I don't want to hear one of three. Give me the answer.
Who's the best player in the East?
Who's the best player in the East besides Giannis right now?
I mean, I would say Jaylen Brown.
This year it's probably been Jaylen Brown. This year's probably been Jaylen Brown.
Okay.
I'm not saying.
And who's second? Is Donovan better than Cade Cunningham right now?
I would take Donovan over Cade Cunningham right now.
Huh.
Yeah.
I would too.
Interesting. Well, you wouldn't because Cade's younger. So
Well, if he's starting a team.
For this year.
Yeah,
we're
just
talking about this year.
Okay,
right
for
now.
just
We're
this
talking
year.
about this year.
So Jaylen Brown's the best player
In the East right
in the
now,
East that's going to be in the playoffs.
I mean, this year, yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Am I
So the
missing
question
anyone?
is,
Okay. So can the Cavs win the championship?
without the top 5 guy, they have what we could argue the specific placement of Donovan, but you have Donovan top 10, Harden's in that 14 to 16 range, top 15-ish player. Mobley's still a top 25 guy in the back end of the top 25.
Really?
And then Jared,
Is he really a top 25 guy?
he still is. He still is. And then Jared Allen is wherever you want to place Jared Allen at this point of what he's coming off of in that run.
Yeah.
Is that enough as a collection of talent to override the historical need of a top 5 player? Jason, what
Probably
say
not. Jason?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't know. We're
Yeah.
too early into this. That's the honest answer. We're too early into the second apron era and all this stuff to really know, because that's the question. That's one of the questions that a lot of people in the league are asking is how has the roster building changed, and has it changed? I mean, Indiana made it to the finals last. They didn't win it, but they made it to the finals last year without a top 5 guy. So is that sort of the evidence?
Well, so did
that it's trending
Miami
that way
recently.
And the bubble year with Jimmy? Yeah, I mean, Jimmy wasn't top 5, but
there are
pretty
two
good.
things about Indy and Miami that I want to come back to. So continue, Jason.
There's always the anomaly. Like, you can always find the exception. If you go your entire life trying to be the exception, you're not going to be very successful. Like, usually you have to go with how most teams do it.
Right.
But we're just too early into this to know. I mean,
But the Western, whoever comes out of the West is going to have a top 5 player.
OKC is such a wagon with SGA
they're
and
not
all
playing.
the talent that they have, and Denver with Jokic, So it's just we're just too early. Like 5 years from now, 3 years from now, maybe we can better answer this. The fact that Indiana did it as one of the first teams of the second apron era tells you that maybe it's not as where it has to be top. I mean, for 20 years, the league was obsessed with getting top-end talent. That was the only way to win a championship. And I do think that's changing a little bit in terms of success that you can have. Now, can you win a championship without that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I think
everything,
we're too early.
Everything about the Cavs screams not a championship team.
I don't think they're going to win.
They don't have a top 5 player. They have been terrible in the playoffs. James Harden is the best player in the history of basketball who's been bad in the playoffs.
He's had good playoff games.
But overall,
he's known for some
famous
in Game 7.
Donovan Mitchell's never gotten past the second round.
But I do think it's important to show, like,
You're
James Harden has had
Yeah,
some really good playoff games.
But
his reputation is what
bad.
it is.
It's the worst reputation of any great player.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's hard to say the Cavs are a legit championship contender.
They're a contender.
They are.
They're a contender.
But they're more of a long shot contender.
They have to play elite. Like, you got guys like Donovan Mitchell, he's probably, somewhere in the top 5 or whatever the case may be. But what you need to do is you need to have James Harden play. He can't be 14. He has to play like James Harden is the 8th, 7th best player. You need Evan Mobley to play like he's a borderline top 10 player. Like, you take a look at how the Denver Nuggets won. Jokic played great, but Murray played awesome. Aaron Gordon played awesome. They had Brown playing awesome. They had a lot of dudes that stepped up during that time period to play better than what they were. For the Cavs to actually win a championship, they actually have to have somebody play over their capabilities slightly. Like, Mobley would have to have a series where it's like, Mobley's cooking. He's playing like a top 15 player. Yeah. That's the way they would have to win it. But as of now, if you got the same production that Harden has now, I don't think they can win a championship as constituted, because just go watch Jason Tatum come back.
Yeah. Right.
He comes back, and all of a sudden, it's just like you ain't got no shot.
And the thing about the Nuggets is, you're right about all that stuff, but Jokic is the best player in the NBA.
Yes.
So, the Cavs just don't have that.
No, they don't.
Go.
Now, in the Indiana run last year and the Miami run to the finals in the bubble.
Yeah.
They may not have had a top 5 player when the playoffs started. Halliburton played like a top 5 player during the stretch. Jimmy Butler during that stretch played like a top 5 player. But more importantly than those two individually, every role player played above the expectation. And last year with Indiana, the Nemhards, the McConnells, the Toppins, the Thomas Bryants of the world, the Aaron Nesmiths, all played way above their bridges. And it's the hardest thing to do in basketball is to count on those guys for 6 weeks to play above their bridges. But a lot of times, and even the Jokic team that won, G, to your point, Murray was awesome. Gordon was awesome. Christian Brown came into his own during that playoff run. I don't think you need necessarily a top 5 player to win a championship anymore. I think you can do it with a collection of talent as long as your superstars and your best players play up to what they need to play to.
Yeah.
The teams that win are the teams that get the most consistent play from their role players for the most part.
Right, but they also have a top 5 player. So
who elevates them all. And that's why you need – you're not going to win if Donovan and James play poorly. They have to play, if not better than what they're playing, at least at the level they're playing. But it's the other guys that when Donovan's out for a stretch or when James is out for a stretch and they don't have their core 4 in, you don't go -6 in those 3 minutes and then fight yourself out of a hole each and every time you go. But
ultimately, if you play the Celtics, James Harden, Donovan Mitchell got to outplay Tatum and Brown.
They got to at least match them.
Or they're going to – I think they got to outplay them.
Yeah. One of those games they're going to have to outplay them. Like, I always go back to it in 2016. Kyrie wasn't a top 10 player in the league. LeBron was the best player in the league.
Yeah.
But during 2016, Kyrie Irving in that playoff series, you couldn't tell him nothing. He was a top 10 player, and he was doing what he wanted to. So you need somebody to elevate a little bit to put yourself in contention where you can actually keep up with guys who are more consistent. Like, you know what Tatum and Brown are going to do. So if you know what they're going to do and they're going to give you a certain amount of production, you got to at least match or beat that production and hope somebody else ball out.
My point against the Celtics, if you go back to the game the other day when they beat them here, and they beat them relatively handily. I know it was close in the final. They didn't lose because Mobley, Harden, and Mitchell didn't show up. They lost because literally no one else can make a shot.
But you also can't compare a regular season game to a playoff series.
I'm just saying they have the firepower at the top to match those two. It's going to come down to Hauser, Pritchard, Shireman.
Right.
Can you negate those guys and your guys play better?
I trust the Celtic guys more.
I do
and
too.
You should. And I'm not saying you should. My point is, in those series, even last year, Donovan was awesome in games 1 and 2. They lost because no one else showed up for Cleveland.
It's the Derek Whites of the world that get you. It's the Pritchards that get you.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
We have to address something very important here.
Yeah.
We have a hater alert, and his name is Adam the Bull.
Hater. What do I do now?
Steve, do we build a hater alert graphic? No, we didn't. So just slow zoom on Bull.
Who do I hate
Slow zoom on Bull here. So Bull.
Yeah.
When we were talking about the Cavs the other day, I said I saw Sam Merrill miss a bunch of threes at halftime.
Oh, here we go.
And Bull's like, how many could you make if you shot 20? And I said, I don't know. Out of 22, I think I go 15 or 16. And you scoffed at me. You said,
NBA, this video, were they NBA threes?
No, there's not an NBA line there. So instead of making a line, just shot regular line.
Well, that's what I said, Mike.
I'm not an NBA player. I'm 5'8" and a former D3 bench warmer. Bull scoffed at me. Said, you can't make it, man. He scoffed. It was disgust. The look of disgust.
I don't actually think I scoffed.
There was vitriol. So I said, all right, Bull, after pickup, I'll go shoot 23s.
Yeah.
Steve, take tagboard full. In case anyone missed it. I want to see Bull have to watch this in live motion because we went 17 of 20, Bull. Speak for yourself, sir.
I mean, I can't even see anything. How do I know if you're making the shot?
Steve, make it full. Bull's eyes are bad, just like his basketball skills.
I never claimed to have good basketball skills.
Hold the L. Hold the L, Bull.
Yeah, man.
What do you want to say?
I don't know what this proves.
You asked how many I would make?
This is just Mike taking 2 minutes to flex.
That's all this is.
How many you want, Bull?
How many you want?
17 to 8, 17 to 20. That's what miss.
A year from now, we're going to play hoops. I'm going to back your ass down to the basket.
Like Tyvis?
Dunk on you.
If you're dunking, Bull, I'll give you $1 million. If you could somehow,
where are you getting $1 million? You're gonna have to rob a bank.
I'll rob a damn bank.
If you could touch the backboard, I'll give you, man.
I can't touch it.
Now, how do you know he didn't shoot 50 and just cut the middle 20?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Because
I said you couldn't do it on an NBA three-pointer.
Well, I didn't have an NBA gym to go to.
Well, so you didn't prove anything. I know you're a good shooter for a slappy at the schoolyard.
Just admit you're a hater, and we can all move on.
I'm not a hater at all.
He came in cranky. Bull came in cranky.
I am cranky, yes.
His power went
Very
out.
cranky.
He came in a little late.
I did not come in late. What are you talking about?
The real reason he's cranky was I put that video on Twitter.
The first one
and Bull got dunked on last night. So it's
What's
okay,
that?
Bull. Just hold your L. You can just hold your L.
Yeah, I got to my phone, and you and Jason have been going back and forth on something.
We're talking about bat. We're trying to make you a known ball knower, but you refuse to listen to our knowledge, and now you're just an unknown ball knower.
That's wild work.
I've been right. I've been right about some of the Cavs stuff more than you like to admit, my friend.
Yeah. But that's not 'cause you know ball, it's just because you're a negative
unfortunately,
your boy Evan Mobley, who giving us this propaganda about him being a top 20 player.
I said top 25.
Oh, that was
accused me of propaganda. At least accused me of the right
you were ready to sell low on him, and Mike and I said there was more there, and last year proved there was more there. Now,
not this year.
Hey, Bull, hold on. You hear that? Yeah, it's Billie Jean playing. These dudes is moonwalking out here.
I'm looking forward to that Michael Jackson movie. Speaking of which,
who's playing Michael Jackson?
I can't think of the guy's name.
Chalamet plays everybody. Don't laugh. He plays everything.
What's that?
Did you just ask if Timothée Chalamet is going to play Michael Jackson?
Timothée Chalamet's played every character known to man.
How can Timothée Chalamet play Michael Jackson?
AI.
Hey, no, listen.
Chalamet's been literally in every movie.
He's a white guy. Michael Jackson's black.
I know.
I could give them suggestions.
It's not like it's a fictional. The weirdest thing is when people get uptight, like the girl who played Snow White is Latina,
yes,
and people are all up in arms about it. It's a fictional character.
Yeah.
But Michael Jackson was a real person.
No, Michael Jackson was mythical. He is the king of pop.
Fair. By the way, he's still real.
He's royalty.
By the way, I should give them a suggestion. I know a really good Michael Jackson impersonator.
Didn't he work at your wedding?
Yeah, he was at my wedding.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
But no, they got. I can't.
You had a Michael Jackson impersonator at your wedding?
Yeah.
Look up who's playing Michael Jackson. I never heard of the guy.
It was in Orlando.
His name is Jafar Jackson.
Oh, he's related. Yeah, right. He's related, I think.
Man,
Jackson's a common name.
Oh, he looked very similar.
He looks a lot like him, right?
Yeah. No, I see it now. Better choice than Chalamet.
Man.
I'd say so. By the way, speaking of Chalamet, there is something going on right now that's driving me nuts.
Marty Supreme?
Well, I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it, but
Chalamet was terrific in Marty Supreme.
So here's the thing. So Chalamet was talking with what's his name?
McConaughey?
Yeah, McConaughey.
I saw the interview.
And he kind of took a shot at ballet and whatever opera, and all these artists are all up in arms. It was an offhanded comment. Leave Chalamet alone. Nobody gives a rat's ass about ballet and the opera. It's boring. If you like it, fine. You got a group of people that like it. Not everybody has to like ballet and the opera. Give it a break. For crying out loud, it's more important. The world's on fire right now, and we're worried about Chalamet saying he doesn't like the ballet.
Can I jump in with some fun Chalamet news?
What?
We're getting a Dune 3 trailer tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm done with Dune. I'm done.
What you talking
I'm
about?
not watching
you're wrong,
3.
that's
I've had
awesome.
enough Dune.
I never saw 1 and 2. I don't care.
By the way, I saw a great movie last night. Me, Aaron, and Liz watched this movie called War Machine on Netflix.
Oh, it was fun.
Wasn't that great?
You know what?
It
I
was
saw
like a
something
good
about
3-star
that.
movie.
I thought about that.
Chalamet was not in it.
not in it.
It was what's his name? From the guy who plays Reacher. Alan Richmond.
Thad Castle. Alan Richardson.
Alan Richter.
Richard. Richmond or something.
Richardson.
Alan R.
He's huge.
Big dude. Yeah.
Huge,
He's from Blue
that
Mountain
guy.
State back
Good
then.
movie.
Jason, give me 30 seconds.
And the
on
guy who
Chalamet.
played Jesse Owens. Remember the Jesse Owens movie that came out a few years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy who played Jesse Owens is in it. I don't know his name.
We're getting the super chats after Jason gives us 30 seconds on Chalamet. Jason,
Chalamet, Jason, go.
What do you want?
You like Chalamet?
He's fine.
Anything.
Big Knicks fan.
Hey, listen.
I'm not as big. I'm not as big
into
into Chalamet as apparently everybody else in here.
I like Chalamet.
I like Adam Sandler's impression of it.
I don't think I've ever seen a
I've seen
Chalamet
that.
movie. Now that we're being honest.
Some would say he's pretty spicy.
Chalamet?
Yeah.
I'd say so. He's pretty spicy.
You did.
I've never seen Dune.
What?
You missed that.
Never saw Dune.
You just missed it. Spicy, spice melange, Dune.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bull, bad job.
Little Women.
Yeah.
Another L for Bull.
That was an L for me. I didn't.
And that was low.
You picked up on that one?
Yeah, Chalamet's #1 fan who's never seen one of his movies.
Yeah, like what are you talking about, bro?
You haven't actually seen Marty Supreme?
I want to. No, I haven't seen it though.
Why is it still on pay-per-view? Put it on HBO Max.
I'm gonna do a throwback on Monday or Tuesday show. I forget. G, you were here Monday and Tuesday, right? Remember we had the scoreboard and you were beating Bull like 15-1 at the end of the show?
Yeah, that was made up.
Yeah, it's 22-0 now. 22-0. Bulls lost 2 points,
nonsense.
and G, you got 7 points.
I got 7 more points.
Nonsense.
Touchdown. You got a touchdown.
And you got to add 7 to it because I got a half wrist up from Jason. That's worth 35.
You did get it.
Two-point conversion.
It was like
I was
this.
just checking the time.
It was like this. It was crazy, bro. Listen, we taking that. We up highly.
We need a headline. Jason Lloyd loves Shedeur Sanders, and in small parentheses compared to
Will Howard. But the real question is, who would Jay Crawford pick?
Will Howard.
Come on, every day. Man, what you talking about? Listen,
He loves him some Will Howard.
He got 7 stats ready to go about what he talked to somebody in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, a dude he trusts. Yeah. That Will Howard is now Himothy. As a matter of fact,
the hardest worker, first guy in, last guy out.
And Aaron Rodgers gave him the discount double check. He put the belt on him. He did it around his waist.
Jay
that was
loved
crazy.
Will in that draft.
Listen, he still love him. Listen, he might get he got to have a jersey. You know, Jay will walk in with a
I don't know if he'll wear a Steelers jersey.
No. You're right. Hold on. You're right.
Maybe where the Buckeyes Will Howard.
The throwback Will Howard. There you go. He ain't go. Even Jay can't get the Steelers joint off.
I had a conversation with some of the people who are helping us transition to the app yesterday, and some of the features that like we may want to build into the app to make UCSS, interactives. Yeah. I may make a scoreboard, and I may have Ant just keep score throughout the show. And Bull, you're gonna lose every day. You're gonna be spicy mustard of the Guardians hot dog.
So basically,
it's rigged against me, is what you're saying.
So
it's around the horn.
It's a rigged election. Yeah, around the horn.
It's around the horn.
Like Woody Page would always lose.
Yeah. You're a stat boy now. Like they just.
We'll make Ant the stat boy. Yeah.
Anthony stat boy.
Yeah. That'll be fun. That actually would be fun. It'd be dangerous.
Shout out.
If we can do that, maybe we genuinely will. All right, super chats for real though.
Reality, Jay Mariotti. What is it?
N.E. Lover says interior offensive line prospects. I want to shout out Brock Meyer and Jake Slaughter. Also Tyron Montgomery at receiver. Could be worth keeping an eye on. Jacob Rodriguez, the Heisman finalist at linebacker too.
Tyron Montgomery from John Carroll. This dude, all right.
He's fast. He's
getting
really
drafted out of John Carroll.
This dude, he got a single digit. He be moving around.
Damn, good for him.
Mr. MJ says today quarterbacks are more physically talented and gifted. However, the past quarterbacks were fundamentally better and their knowledge of the game was far superior.
All right.
Soldier Man says in 88, even earlier than that, they ran the ball a lot more too.
Yes.
It's crazy they ran the ball and Vinny still had 35 interceptions.
That's crazy.
35 interceptions.
That was nuts.
And he get benched. He started 15 of the 16 games.
He was still in Tampa in '88. That was Tampa.
Yeah. Mr. Rick Secker says the fact the Browns haven't gone after receiver in free agency and boasted the O-line, is that an indicator they're more likely to go receiver at 6 than draft the tackle?
I have no clue what they're going to do.
No. They needed more offensive linemen than receivers.
Yes.
Soldier Man says, McNuggets, I saw the video of you dropping those shots. You need to try out for the charge. Trust me, that would go horrifically.
They're going to put him right in the pick and roll.
Yeah, I could not guard
Mike
anyone.
Try to defend.
If they leave me open,
6'7" guys.
If they could leave me open in the corner and didn't need me defensively whatsoever, then I could contribute. But if there's anything other than standing open and making shots, it would be a horrific disaster. Horrific. Neil Gray says Jalen Hurts on their third tier is ridiculous. 2 Super Bowl appearances. It says it all. Neil also says, McNuggets, the teams that win now are defensive teams with a fourth quarter closer and shoot lots of threes. Team Helmet Full says, Stadium Mustard is the single greatest contribution to the culinary world Cleveland has ever made. Is there any argument?
Corned beef.
I don't like mustard, so.
Corned beef.
Yeah, but I don't think corned beef is a Cleveland original. Is pierogies a Cleveland original?
Polish boys.
They're known for.
If it is, I would take that over mustard any day of the week. Pierogies are awesome.
Yeah, I like those.
I don't like
I'd
mustard.
say
I'm anti-mustard.
Cleveland has phenomenal restaurants.
Yeah, they do.
It's so underrated, the restaurant scene here. compared to, like, everybody talks Chicago, New York. There are tremendous restaurants here.
But it's not as good as Chicago and New York. They're bigger cities.
Okay, but fine.
But it is very good.
Yeah,
yes,
it's really,
absolutely.
Per capita, per pound.
We're not as good with ethnic food, though, here. That's the difference. That's the biggest difference.
Yeah.
But we got breaking news.
We do?
For you specific. This is real breaking news. We just got an email from the building manager. On Tuesday morning, they are pulling up the tiles in the kitchen to get rid of whatever the smell is underneath.
It's about time.
Nobody's happier than Adam the Bull.
I can't even go up to the kitchen anymore. It smells like dead animals in there.
I ain't been up there.
Pulling up the
gross.
tiles?
There's a dead animal somewhere in there.
It has smelled so bad in the kitchen.
It smells
for
like death in that kitchen for months now.
I might have to sweep through just to.
Yeah, go in there. I can't even go up there. I didn't have any water. I've been nursing a tiny bit of water the whole show because we ran out of water down here.
You're just practicing for post-surgery.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like a sip at a time.
Mm-hmm.
How happy are you, Bull, that when you get back, you can finally venture back upstairs without having to ask us to go get you a water or whatever you need that morning?
Yeah. All right.
We're heading over to KYC.
Oh, we're going now?
I mean, we got a minute. This clock's a minute fast now. I got to fix this.
What happened there? Pull it together. Is that it for the Super Chats?
That is all the Super Chats.
Final thought before we go to KYC?
I can't believe you're done with Dune. Why? This is the
I'll
best
probably
one.
come back.
Bad take, Bull.
I do love Zendaya.
Yeah, yep. I didn't know she could sing.
Can she?
Yeah.
I think she started as a Broadway star.
Euphoria season 3, baby.
And isn't she coming out with a series or something?
Well, Euphoria season 3. That's been out already.
Isn't she like I don't know.
Star of that.
She'd be running around.
You never saw Euphoria?
No.
You're kidding.
Euphoria is very good. No Chalamet, but very good.
What'd you say?
No Chalamet, but Euphoria is terrific.
No Chalamet, yeah.
Terrific.
You're obsessed with Chalamet right now.
Mike, I think you need to watch Little Women as your first Chalamet movie.
I don't know why I got on a Chalamet kick this show, but I'm on a Chalamet kick.
I don't know I can't think of anything I've seen by him besides.
I don't think I've ever
Dune
seen
movies.
anything.
I didn't see. He was Bob Dylan. Didn't see that.
I didn't see that.
Oh, he was. Bob Dylan?
He got tremendous reviews.
Yeah.
He's Marty McFly. I do want to see Marty McFly.
Marty McFly.
Or Marty Supreme.
Marty McFly.
It's Friday. I'm losing.
That's Back to the Future, man.
I'm like, dang, Michael J. Fox. That's crazy.
You know who originally played that role?
Who?
Eric Stoltz. You know who Eric Stoltz is?
No, I don't.